everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am bringing you a video that has gone viral for a lot of YouTubers, so I thought that I would try this out. So this video is going to be a what my followers assumed about plants before they became plant owners. So if you didn't know, I am on Instagram at DEBUNKING, and that is a fun and lively Instagram page all about my plants, and it's a really fun place to be. You should definitely go follow me over there. But I asked my friends over there what they assumed about plants before they became plant people, and the responses were really funny, so I'm going to be sharing some of them with you today. And also, along with sharing them, I'm going to be demystifying plant ownership myths, and I'm hopefully convincing you to buy a plant if you haven't already. Maybe you're thinking about it, or maybe you just want to buy more. I'm gonna help you. A lot of assumptions were surrounded by water, and the plants obviously need water to grow. All plants do, but how much water they need, that's a different story. So a common assumption was that plants need to be watered every single day, and we know as experienced plant people, or maybe we don't know, that that is just not true. Plants do not need to be watered every single day. Maybe a few types of varieties, maybe. If you have an outdoor garden, perhaps, yes, grass, all of those things, but as far as houseplants and cactus and succulents, definitely do not need to be watered every single day, not even weekly for most plants. So I think that I do a big watering like once every 2 weeks usually, and my plants are all really happy with that. Connected to this is if the plant looks unhappy, just give it more water. I can't think of anything worse to do for a plant unless you know for sure that you have underwatered it, like maybe you haven't watered it in like months or weeks on end. Maybe then give it water if it looks sad, but usually you should be checking the soil before you water the plant just to make sure that it actually needs it. So I'll just stick my finger in the soil, or even I'll lift up the pot to see if the pot is lighter. I heard that on a podcast one time, and actually I thought that the person was crazy to be able to know the difference in the weight of their pots based on how much water was in it. And I'm here to tell you that I figured it out finally, and yeah, I get it. So stick your finger in that pot before you water it, lift up the pot, see how heavy it is, and then water if you still feel that it's necessary. The next common assumption was that succulents are easy to care for and that they are low light tolerant. You know, I definitely heard this before I started owning plants, and that is the reason why I bought succulents to start off with. And yeah, succulents are definitely not low light, and they're definitely not the easiest plant to own. They're actually very difficult unless you understand where they come from and the type of plant that they are, the kind of care that they need in general. You're probably going to kill a lot of succulents if you're watering them a lot and putting them in a dark corner. This assumption makes me laugh because it says that you have to be born with a green thumb and that it cannot be learned. And I just think that that is something that I really believed, especially after I killed those succulents. Like, I really thought that I was a plant killer, and I've learned now that that's definitely not true, and a green thumb is something that is acquired and learned, and through practice and owning plants is the best way to earn that green thumb. It is definitely something that is earned. It takes a lot of research and experience, but I think we're all capable of it. The next one is actually something that I try not to jinx myself on this, but this one is that infestations will never happen to me. So I've only actually dealt with one pest in my entire plant life, and it is whitefly, and it took over one of my plants over the summer, and like around August, and I didn't even know what it was at first, and then I realized what it was, and it was way too late. Unfortunately, the plant died, and it was one that I had grown from seed, so it was a little bit sad, but I wasn't completely attached to the plant. Like, if my Photonia ever got a pest, I would be absolutely gutted. And so I think oftentimes we see videos and posts and stories about people dealing with their pests and think, oh yeah, it's never happened to me, and it never will. Well, I've only dealt with whitefly once, but I know that that's definitely not the end of it, and I'm just dreading the day that I get spider mites. Like, nothing in this world will ever prepare me for that moment. So yes, infestations happen if you have plants, and we all have plants, I'm assuming, if you're watching this video, so be prepared. The next The next assumption is that all plants require the same amount and type of care. I think this is really easy to fall into when you're first buying plants and all of the labels say indirect bright light and water when feels dry. I mean, most labels will say that, but we understand that plants are very fickle sometimes and need different things. So it comes with experience and paying attention to your plants and what they need and how they respond to certain things. Some plants need a certain kind of soil, some plants need a certain kind of watering schedule, and other plants are cool with whatever. And I prefer the plants that are cool with whatever, but if you do have more intricate plants that need a little bit more specialized care, it's really important that you do the research and look at the way that your plants are responding to what you give them. The next assumption is that if you water your plants and keep them in a room with windows, they'll be fine, they'll survive. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. If you saw my previous video about buying a plant, you'll know that I kind of went on a rant about windows. Not all windows are created equal. I learned this after listening to a podcast, Bloom and Go Radio. And, you know, it was a really sad realization, but a room with windows is not enough for most plants. It's sad, but if that's your deal, then maybe you should focus on lower light plants. But if you are interested in learning more about your light, we have a compass app on our phones that you can pull up and find out what direction of windows you have, and then even further figure out what kind of light comes through those windows and what plants would do best there. And this is just part 2 of that rant, but it's just not true that you can put a plant in a room with windows and it's going to be fine. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people kill their plants, and a lot of the reason that I've killed my plants, because I didn't understand the conditions that were necessary. Okay, in this last little short section I'm going to share is what people assumed about plant people before they became plant owners, and I thought this was really funny. I got a good laugh off of some of these responses. The first one was that plant owners have free time and extra money. Oh man, I think this is so funny. There's a lot of expenses that go into owning plants that we probably did not think about. Me for one, I just bought that Enjoy Pothos that was gigantic, and it required that I purchase 8 pots. And though they were terracotta pots, the pot plus the saucers and all this stuff, it was like over $50. That was my fun spending for the month. So free time, most of my free time, you know, I prefer to watch movies and stuff, but I will say that I have spent a lot of time in my life repotting and caring and watering and all these other things with my plants. And obviously I'm happy to spend the time, but it's just funny that someone said that because it's very true. But I should add the free time bit. You spend as much time on your plants as you want to and you decide that is necessary, so. Alright, and the last one, which I think is hilarious, is that all plant owners are senior citizens, that like you can only own plants if you're a senior citizen. I think most of our grandparents have probably had plants in their house. That was my like first experience to house plants, was seeing them in my grandma's house. So I kind of always thought like, hey, once I'm older, I'll get into plants and like that'll be it for me. But something just came over me at a young age. I think I was 21 or something like that. And so it was not that long ago. I'm only 22, almost 23. Owning plants is not reserved for old people, and might I add, neither is sewing or crocheting. That kind of stuff is really fun and should not just be for old ladies. Alright, that is all I have for plant assumptions. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and this helped demystify and debunk some plant myths that maybe you've been thinking about. Share this video if you know someone who's a plant hater, or maybe they're a little bit unsure about owning plants. We all need a plant in our lives, and I hope that this video is helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram for live updates. Until next time, bye! I got new glasses and they have this like purple sheen, and it's supposed to help with keeping out these really nasty rays of light from our screens. So we'll see if I get less headaches because I work on a computer a lot.